Right, I wasn't going to do a tutorial on this, and that's why I've already started it, but I've decided to. This is what I'm making for Heidi Stanleys subs giveaway competition. I'm making a... Sorry, the dog's being very needy. Bronte, will you go away? Go away. Forgot what I'm saying now. It's a needle felted jumping spider. This is just the initial wool that's around it. It won't be this colour. For the wire work, so I'll just show you what I've done. I've kind of... Bronte, sorry about the dog. She's disgusting, if you heard that. Right, I just used initially some wire, not too thick, just to make the shape like in a loop there. Twist it so it's joined, another loop there, twist the legs on, so I've got obviously 4 each side, but twist the ends on, pedipalps, and I've even done a bit of wire for the fangs, because I'm hoping it'll be poseable when it's finished. And then on that burr wire, I just wrap... Oh, seriously, the dog is farting and burping and everything. It's not me. Just wrap pipe cleaners. I've used black just in case it showed through, because the spider's going to be mainly black and white, but it doesn't really matter because you shouldn't really see the wires through. And then also started doing is infilling the thorax part. Just filled one loop with just bare wool. This wool's actually just out of a pillow, a new one. It's not an old pillow. I think it's only like £3 for a pillow with loads of stuffing in from Asda, so that's what I've used. And then I did the abdomen. This is my needle felting tool that I'm using. You just stab it all over, just gently, and make sure you're going it in straight and not at an angle, because you can snap the needles quite easily. And then I've done a bit on what will be the fangs. I'm just trying to get the general shape at the minute. I know the legs are way longer than they should be, but that's because I can't really tell how much length of wire until I've done the body I'll need. And I can snip the wires off the ends that poke through. So, right. I use pictures to refer to when I'm making something, and this is the actual jumping spider that I'm copying off. It is Phidippus audax. I was just double checking what I suspected, that the fangs go inwards rather than both forwards, like a tarantula's does. I'm hoping I can achieve a metallic effect like the chelicerae on the pictures do. Yeah, I look at pictures from all different angles just to show how long the legs are and things like that. Okay, I've covered the legs just roughly. For those that have not needle felted before or know anything about it, wool comes like this, sometimes just a single colour on its own. This actually came as mixed colours, but it's in strips like that. Whatever length you need, don't cut it off, just pull it and snap the wool, because otherwise when you lay it on your work it just won't look right if it's got a clean line. All I've done is took quite a long strip of wool. I've attached it at the top just by stabbing it, Then I've wound it round the legs. You can see I just wound it round and just be very careful of the wire. If you hit the wire with your needle, it will snap your needle. These are special needles, the barbed. I don't know if you can see it on the camera. And it just snags the wool together and kind of welds it together as you're stabbing. So I've just loosely stabbed it just to hold it in place for now, and I've not done all the way to the bottom because I'm not sure of the proportions of the legs to the body until I've finished the body. The reason you do the legs first is that it just strengthens it that you've done it first, and then you're laying the wool over the top for the thorax. I've already done some of the thorax. You just lay the wool over the top. Just do it in little bits at a time. I've pulled a piece that's the length of the thorax, and again just keep working by stabbing it all over, and not too much. You don't want it like dead solid and it hard to get your needle in. You just need to do it enough so that when you pull it, the wool doesn't pull back easily. It's perhaps hard to make out what I'm doing here because it's just a tangle of legs and stuff, but so I finished that bit, and then I've just put a thin covering of black on the chelicerae, the fang area. I've left the wires sticking out for now. I'm going to deal with those later. There's another colour going to go on top of this bit here, so that's why I've only put a very thin covering on. Underneath I've put a bit and gone over the pedipalp area just to strengthen that. I'm going to do underneath just a covering, but I'm going to put definition into it later. And all you do to put definition into it, just find my needle. It's just the more you stab, the more it beds in, and like you can make an indentation. So I've done it at the top of the chelicerae here, and I'll just show you where the eyes will sit. I'll just demonstrate. If you keep poking it enough, can you see the indentations forming as you just stab deeper into it? I'm going to buy some bead eyes. I want a particular colour. Like on some photographs they look really shiny and oily. Failing that, I'll just use black because I do have black in, but well, there you go. You can see it forming anyway, the eye sockets. Okay, I finished covering the body. I decided on the length of the legs. I just folded the wires that were sticking out and maybe cut some if there was too much. I folded the wires back on itself and just twisted it together. The legs aren't quite finished. They'll be thickened up a bit more near the top, because looking at jumping spiders, the legs really do taper to a very thin foot. I've started putting some colour on the chelicerae. I don't know if you can see in this light. I've actually mixed blue and green together. For the fangs, what I'm planning to do is cut the wires at the right length, put cling film on, and then use Fimo, which is an oven baked clay. You can get it in different colours. I have got black in, so I'm going to do it in black. hopefully having put the cling film on it will let me slip the fang back off. I'll fire it in the oven and then I'll be able to hopefully slip it back on, glue it in place, and then I'll finish putting more felt around just to cover the very top of the fang. I need to do 2 more smaller eye sockets here. There will be more felt going on over the eyes, just to truly make a socket. Right, I stripped the pipe cleaner off the ends. There will be the actual fangs, but left the other thicker wire sticking out. The reason I did that is because I didn't want the fangs to end up too thick when I put the Fimo on. And then I didn't have any cling film, so I've used foil and just wrapped it round that wire and up onto the pipe cleaner, just a little bit. You only need a tiny piece of foil like that. I've made sure the fangs are curved to the shape they're going to be, because once the Fimo's on and once you've baked it, that's it. You won't be able to bend it into shape, otherwise it'll crack. I've just rolled a little ball of it. For now I'm not going to shape the fangs over the tin foil and hope that it pulls off and retain that shape. Okay, I've started working with the Fimo. I decided that rather than doing an all black fang, when you look at, say, tarantula's fangs, in certain lights they have like a reddish tinge to them. So what I did was mix some black with just a little bit of red and pink and that I was trying to achieve like a maroony colour. Camera's not quite picking up the true colour that I've made. I've not done this to the exact shape that the fang will be or anything like that. I'm just making a colour mix at the minute. Okay, they're not as slim as I'd wanted them, but that's as small as I could get away with. I'm going to fire them in the oven. I'm not going to give them long because it is only thin. Maybe about 8 minutes I'll try. Right, I actually ended up baking the fangs in the oven for 15 minutes. That's without heating the oven first. Just switched it on, put them straight in. You find that if you put Fimo in to bake for too long, it can bubble. So I took them out, plunged them into cold water because apparently they go even harder. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what I did. Now I wanted a glossy finish on them, so what I ended up using it's used for model railway scenery, for waterscapes and things like that. I already had this in because me and my little boy do model railways, so I thought I'd use this because it dries hard and clear, self-leveling, so it was easy to paint on. That's why I've stuck them on this fork, so they don't stick to anything, apart from the fact they might stick to the fork. I might have to snap them off, but we'll see. So I'm just going to wait for that to dry and then I'll glue them back onto the wires for the fangs and carry on needle felting the chelicerae. Right, the fangs are glued on. I've decided I'm going to paint the ends of them, having looked at pictures of ones that have quite a bright red on the end of the fangs. I'm going to paint them using glass paints with red, so it should still be shiny. I have sewn some beads on, 2 bigger ones at the front, then smaller ones, and then smaller ones still, and then for the posterior ones I wanted the same size as these, but I only had a certain size left, but they'll be partly covered because there's the cephalothorax, which is the thorax and head fused together on a spider. Little bit of anatomy information for you there. The cephalothorax is quite high on a jumping spider, so I'll be stabbing more wool and then closing the eyes a little bit to produce more of a socket to hold them in even further. I also fired some more Fimo to go over this area here, and that will just be glued into place. Okay, it's finished. I added white markings on the legs and the abdomen. I put green felt around the eyes. I sewed and wrapped around some metallic thread around the chelicerae, because Phidippus audax jumping spiders are well known for the iridescent chelicerae, so I just wanted to get that effect. Underneath I've just put some definition in. I did paint those fangs at the end with the glass paints, but I'm not sure how well the red will show until morning. I'm in unnatural light here. You can see it, but yeah, so he's done. It was painstaking to do the legs because of the wires. I'm not sure how much of a hurry I would be in to make another one at this point. I think I'm just so tired because I've been trying to get him finished today so that my sister Heidi can announce the competition winner. So I've been doing him for 12 hours at least straight just to get it finished. Thank you to everyone who subscribed to both mine and Heidi Stanleys Spiders channel if you've entered the competition. I hope whoever wins him will like him and want to display him in their spider room or whatever. And I hope you've enjoyed, those that haven't won, I hope you've enjoyed watching how I've made him, and maybe you might have confidence to make one for yourself. And there's all different species you could do. They would generally just have the same foundations underneath. It's just the colours and the proportions, I suppose, that you would change. Anyway, thank you for watching. If the competition has already been drawn by the time I've posted this video, congratulations to the winner. If I post it beforehand, before Heidi does it, then good luck to everyone. Bye.